Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas ushered in a new era of cruising when she debuted in 2009. In 2019, this game-changing vessel was further enhanced with several new features and amenities. Does this original record-breaking cruise ship still deliver that wow factor? Well, we've just returned from 7 days on board this ship and are ready to share all the details with you to see how the newly amplified Oasis of the Seas compares to the competition in our latest cruise ship review up next. Hey everyone, I'm DB from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, where we help you see the world one port at a time. And if you're thinking about sailing on the newly amplified Oasis of the Seas anytime soon, this cruise review video is for you, as we evaluate the ship on 12 different categories to help you decide whether this is the right ship for your next cruise vacation. So why don't we get this review started on one of the top decks, the pool deck. Now, we actually first sailed on Oasis of the Seas back in 2016. Now, since then, Royal Caribbean has updated the pool deck on the ship. Currently, there are 3 pools and a kid's splash pad, along with some new lounge furniture and pops of color throughout this entire deck. To make the ship more comparable to its sister ships, there are 3 newly added water slides. The Perfect Storm includes 2 body slides, Typhoon and Cyclone, and the Supercell, which is a bowl slide. While we did not use the slides ourselves, our 9-year-old nephew loved them. Other changes made to the pool deck included rebranding the outdoor bars to the Lime and Coconut. In fact, all 4 outdoor bars now sport this new name, theming, and decor. They also feature the new bar menu, which showcases the signature Lime and Coconut drink, along with other tasty new cocktails. For us, these small changes really enhance the pool area of this 12-year-old cruise ship. Now, given the cruise ship was sailing at 70% capacity, getting deck chairs on a sea day did prove to be a bit challenging. Still, with some planning, we secured loungers on sea days and after returning from ports of call. Finally, the solarium on Oasis of the Seas does feel smaller than the similar venues on its sister ships. We didn't spend much time in the solarium, to be honest with you, but the few times we walked through the area, it appeared that this adults-only pool area did have plenty of available seating. All of the outdoor activities that you would expect to find on a new megaship are also on board Oasis of the Seas. The sports deck hosts the line's signature amenities. The ship has 2 Flow Rider surf simulators. The portside one was dedicated to surfing, and the starboard one was reserved for boogie boarding during our trip. This outdoor area also has a 9-hole miniature golf course and a complimentary zip line, where cruisers can zoom over the boardwalk located 10 decks below. There's also a large sports court that hosts several different competitions and open games during the week. From volleyball to basketball to pickleball and more, this court was actually really busy all the time. Of course, who could forget the newly added Ultimate Abyss? This 10-story dry slide towers 150 feet above sea level, twisting and turning its way from the sports deck all the way down to the boardwalk. Now, besides the activities on the dedicated sports deck, there are even more activities scattered throughout the ship. From some of the largest rock climbing walls at sea, to the running track on Deck 5, and even the ice skating ring in Studio B. There is never a lack of ways to stay active on the ship. Overall, the service on the amplified Oasis of the Seas was what we come to expect from a Royal Caribbean megaship. Our staff of Adil and Carl in the main dining room were real standouts. They did a fantastic job serving our large party each evening. Even during the busy formal nights, they made sure to personalize our service in a timely and friendly manner. Our room attendant, Muhammad, was visible and met all of our requests. While he was not much of a conversationalist, he did always say hi when we saw him throughout the day. Playmakers was often very busy, especially during a Saturday game day. Still, the servers handled all the thirsty and hungry cruisers with a smile. Likewise, the service was equally friendly and prompt for the most part at all the bars, lounges, and casual eateries throughout the ship. Now, since we were traveling with our family, for this trip we actually participated in more activities than we normally do. Of course, this was mainly trivia. From movie posters to Harry Potter and even Star Wars, there were several theme sessions each day that were available to both vaccinated and unvaccinated guests. Still, there were several other family activities and challenges as well, including Sudoku, towel animal demonstrations, balloon making, karaoke, and more. There are also a number of game shows during the day and early evening, like Friendly Feud, Name That Tune, and even the cruise ship's take on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Now, these were open to both vaccinated and unvaccinated guests. There was also your run-of-the-mill activities like dance classes, and during our cruise, there was even open skating sessions in Studio B. Unfortunately though, there was no laser tag being offered during our cruise. There were other changes to the activities as well. Popular activities such as the Crazy Quest, as well as the promenade parties, did not occur, or they were changed due to the ongoing health and safety measures. Now, of course, our Oasis of the Seas cruise review wouldn't be complete unless we talked about the dining. When it comes to casual offerings, there are several different venues on the ship. During its amplification, Oasis of the Seas received a number of new dining venues. A Local Fresh replaced the Wipeout Cafe. We really enjoy this casual Tex-Mex restaurant that features things like tacos, burritos, and a custom salsa bar. But the cruise line didn't change all the venues. We also enjoy the classic Park Cafe. It's another great spot for a quick bite, including the famous Royal Kamwookie sandwich. Of course, there's other Royal Caribbean classics such as Sorrento's Pizza and Cafe Promenade, where you can get small bites 24 hours a day. There's also the Boardwalk Doghouse, which offers complimentary hot dogs and sausages. Health-conscious cruisers can find some alternative light bites at the Vitality Cafe. Of course, there is the buffet, the Windjammer Cafe. For an upcharge, cruisers can dine at Johnny Rockets and Playmaker Sports Bar and Arcade on the boardwalk. Now, in our opinion, the chicken wings, nachos, and other snacks at Playmakers are well worth the additional cost. Now, it does seem a bit odd to have two specialty restaurants across from each other that have very similar menus. However, one great tip is that breakfast at Johnny Rockets is actually complimentary, and they recently updated the menu to provide some new options. Now, on our 7-night cruise, we ate in the main dining room 5 evenings. The Royal Caribbean main dining room menus were the same that you find fleet-wide. Night 5 of our cruise was actually Thanksgiving, and the cruise ship had a special menu which included a traditional turkey dinner along with a few holiday specials. Of course, night 6 was lobster night, and the 3.5 lobsters that I devoured were among some of the best I've had at sea. Other standouts for food in the main dining room were the tiger shrimp, the medium rare prime rib, the onion tart, and the royal cheesecake. Now, as mentioned previously, our waitstaff was phenomenal. They were extremely attentive, friendly, and aimed to please. Overall, the main dining room experience on Oasis of the Seas was above average in terms of both food quality and service on this voyage. The Amplified Oasis of the Seas cruise ship includes a number of specialty restaurants that are an upcharge. Among the cruise line's classics is the American-style Steakhouse Chops Grill, which is located in Central Park. Across the way on Deck 8 is the upscale 150 Central Park. This restaurant features delicacies like lobster thermidor, veal, and venison in a refined setting. During our 7-night cruise, we dined at 2 specialty restaurants for dinner. On the first formal night, we ate at Giovanni's Table. This Italian restaurant offered a more upscale atmosphere and menu than its more casual counterpart, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, found on the new Odyssey of the Seas. Among the standouts at this restaurant were the buffalo mozzarella, the carbonara, as well as the veal osso buco. On night 4, we dined at the brand new Portside Barbecue. This casual restaurant debuted on Oasis of the Seas, and it was the perfect stop after a long day ashore. I went to town with the signature combo featuring ribs, sausage, mac and cheese, and cornbread. The wife also enjoyed her smoked turkey sandwich. Portside Barbecue is the perfect addition to the Royal Caribbean fleet, and it's a great value when compared to other similar venues on competitor cruise lines. So if you're looking for a break from the main dining room or the Windjammer, Oasis of the Seas offers plenty of diverse specialty dining options to please even the pickiest eaters. The vast variety of trivia, game shows, and karaoke sessions offered during the day also continued into the evenings. Not to mention there was plenty of live music, comedy shows, the 70s party, a late night DJ, and signature entertainment. There was a Beatles cover band that performed in the main theater, as well as several shows in the music hall. The house band Midnight Avenue also played at this venue. In the pub, there was also an acoustic guitarist, who honestly was a bit lackluster, and your classic piano player in the Schooner Bar. He was actually pretty average too, to be honest. Other live music spots included country music at the Portside Barbecue, which we actually really enjoyed while eating our dinner there. You can also find classical guitar music in Central Park, Latin music in boleros, and jazz music in the aptly named Jazz on 4. There was also adult game shows such as The Perfect Couple, Yes or No, and majority rules that were open to vaccinated guests only. These activities are always fun for some nighttime laughs. Now, given the current COVID protocols, we could not make entertainment reservations until we boarded the ship. Luckily, we were able to secure reservations for all the shows immediately upon boarding. Everyone in the party agreed that the best show on the Amplified Oasis of the Seas was the new Aqua Theater show, Aqua 80. With a mix of hit music from the 1980s, amazing acrobatics, and impressive high diving feats, it was one of the best shows we've seen on a cruise ship to date. The Royal Theater hosted the signature production Cats and additional headliner acts. Honestly, I still did not enjoy the newly modified 90-minute version of this Broadway show. The headliners too were just pretty average. They featured, as we mentioned, the Beatlemaniacs cover band. There was also a ventriloquist, Ron Lucas, and a tribute to Whitney Houston by Stephanie Parker. Of the three acts, we enjoyed Ron Lucas the most. The Blaze nightclub also doubled as the comedy club, and during our cruise featured Paul Okada and Dan Gabriel. And the opening act was the far funnier of the pair. The final signature production show was Frozen in Time. This ice skating show, occurring in Studio B, was set to the fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen. I always think that these ice shows are well produced and should not be missed. Overall, the unique entertainment venues and one-of-a-kind shows truly set Royal Caribbean apart from its competitors. Royal Caribbean did update some of the bars and lounges during the ship's amplification process. The Champagne bar was replaced by the Bionic bar. While we're not huge fans of the robot bartenders, it was our nephew's favorite night spot for a drink. Non-alcoholic, of course. The cruise line also rebranded Dazzles into the Music Hall. Unfortunately, this transformed venue does not compare to the versions on the Quantum class ships. As we already mentioned, another new addition was the popular pool bar Lime and Coconut. Those are in addition to other Oasis class staples like the Trellis bar and the Rising Tide bar. Now, of course, the ship also features all the favorite Royal Caribbean bars and lounges. These include the Pub, the Schooner Bar, Boleros, and Vintage's Wine Bar. Still, our favorite nighttime spot is the Schooner Bar. It makes a properly made sidecar and the wife's favorite lavender daiquiri. During our cruise, this bar was only open to vaccinated cruisers. We also enjoyed the new fan favorite Playmaker Sports Bar and Arcade with a wide selection of beer and some tasty treats. Now, fleet-wide, Royal Caribbean has pared down its drink offerings with a new elevated standard menu. However, you're sure to still find plenty of cocktails to quench your thirst that are included in the deluxe beverage package. During our recent cruise, we stayed in an ocean view cabin with a large balcony, cabin 10598. This Category 2C stateroom lived up to our expectations. The balcony was certainly larger than a traditional balcony. The room itself offered all the typical amenities along with newer furnishings and the updated color palette. For a 7-night cruise, we had enough storage space. The closet had just enough hangers and shelving for us to neatly unpack all of our clothes. There was also adequate shelves and cabinets near the desk. Further, we were surprised that there were no additional USB outlets added to the room. In fact, we couldn't find any USB outlets at all, neither near the bed nor the desk. For us, this was one big drawback. Overall, the room more than met our needs, and we could certainly book this cruise cabin category again on another Royal Caribbean cruise. This mega ship has a maximum capacity of over 6,000 guests. With our sailing having close to 4,200 passengers, the ship certainly felt busier when compared to our other cruises in 2021. Also, given that it was a holiday sailing, the ship had more children on board. With several unique spaces, the Oasis class does a decent job of dispersing the crowds. With all of the children on board and the vaccinated versus everyone designation of venues, certain areas always seem more crowded than others. As you would expect, the prime loungers on the pool deck were cleaned by early morning, though the water slides only had small lines and the pools were never overly crowded. We anticipated long lines in the Windjammer, but actually that was not the case. With the diversity of dining options, we had no issues getting a table in the buffet during breakfast or lunch. At most shows, we were able to secure seats by arriving about 30 minutes before showtime. One bottleneck was the everyone section in the main theater. Given the small deck, 5 area, and the number of families on board the sailing, we did have issues getting seats on the first evening. Subsequently, Royal Caribbean ended up adding more everyone seating as the week progressed. So even though this was the busiest we had seen cruise ships in quite a while, Oasis of the Seas handled the crowds fairly well. As we mentioned, we were traveling with our family for this cruise. which included one unvaccinated minor. Thus, we arrived to the cruise terminal, we were directed to the family line. Unfortunately, this family line was much longer than the one for parties of fully vaccinated cruisers. Still, the process of screening, testing, and checking in was efficient. Overall, it took about 75 minutes from the time of arrival to boarding the ship. Given the number of families for this holiday cruise, we consider that a success. We were on board the ship by 12:30, and we were able to book all our shows and explore the ship with ease before it got too crowded. During the cruise, we had 3 ports of call, and getting on and off the ship at these locations was not an issue, though parties with unvaccinated minors were required to take Royal Caribbean sponsored shore excursions. This meant a couple times we had to meet in the theater and get escorted off the ship to meet our tour guide. For disembarkation, we received luggage tag number 17. This had an expected departure time of 8 a.m. With mid-afternoon flights, this was perfect timing for us. While it did take a few attempts to get an elevator down to the Royal Promenade, all in all, it took about 20 minutes to get from the elevator through customs and curbside to request our Uber. As you can tell from our review, the Amplified Oasis of the Seas cruise ship was ideal for this family vacation. Sailing with a multi-generational group, there were plenty of activities for everyone. During the daytime, we enjoyed the pools and the water slides, the sports deck, and the family-friendly game shows and trivia sessions. In the evenings, it was a bit more difficult to find activities that our 9-year-old nephew could attend. Thus, we ended up spending a lot of time at Playmakers on the boardwalk and the Bionic Bar, 2 of the few venues open to unvaccinated guests in the evening. When it comes to signature entertainment, we all agreed that the Aqua 80 dive show was spectacular. Indeed, it was the entertainment highlight of the trip. We would rank the dining on Oasis of the Seas as slightly above average when it comes to food quality and service. The main dining room delivered an excellent representation of the traditional dining experience on Royal Caribbean vessels. In terms of more casual dining options, we frequented El Loco Fresh, and our nephew thoroughly enjoyed the waffles at the Windjammer. We're also big fans of the new Portside Barbecue. This casual upcharge venue featured Southern-style barbecue favorites and a variety of live country music. Yes, Oasis of the Seas is a massive vessel, so you will find some lines and minor crowds. But don't let the size of the cruise ship intimidate you. It truly delivers an exceptional family cruise vacation. And there you have it. That's our cruise review of the newly amplified Oasis of the Seas. Now, of course, we'd love to hear from you. Have you sailed on this ship? Or one of its sister ships? Let us know your cruise review in the comment section below. Do you have a question about our cruise? Make sure to put it in the comment section and we'll be sure to answer it. I'm DB from Eat, Sleep, Cruise. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out some of our other cruise reviews from all the major cruise lines, as well as ship tours for some of the most popular cruise ships. If you don't know where to start, maybe you can check out our latest video, which details the top 10 best new cruise ships of 2022. You can also reach out to us all over social media at Eat Sleep Cruise with your questions or just to say hi. We'd love to hear from you.